A very good morning to all, and a warm welcome to the second session of the Neutralite Live 360 Train the Trainer program. I hope you all are excited, motivated, and charged up going into the second session today on community engagement and relationship building. We have some exciting content in store for you. Before we start today's session, I would like to invite Yogya Talwar on the virtual stage today. Yogya Talwar is our head of consumer and market intelligence for Amway India, and also one of the core leads of this Live 360 program, and a core driver and creator of the TTT program. Ajay, Yogya, Manish, Vijay, and Dr. Shyam as a core group have been very inspirational to bring this change to everyone. And under their leadership, we will continue to co create and evolve along with all of you, with the ultimate goal being your success, which is our motto. So, without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Yogya to set the stage for the second session. Yogya, over to you.
Thank you, Vishali. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. A warm, healthy, happy morning to everybody. I think a lot of excitement in store. The first session, as everybody saw, thanks to everyone, it was a very engaging, participative, interactive session, and we're getting a lot of people sharing their assignments as well, which is good to see. And we hope to see this momentum going forward. Uh, Yesterday we had a good start to the second session as well. So I think we're hoping the today's session is even more interactive, and we keep on building this momentum as we move forward, because as Vishali said, there is a lot in store, and we'll have different people coming in. We'll have different experiences being shared. We'll have you share your experiences. And I think all is about sharing each other's experiences to take this journey forward. Just a quick recap and a few messages which I wanted to kind of share with everyone before we get into the session more specifically and deeply. Um, I'll make few statements to start with, and people can just share their views on the chat box, please. If I say, let's say a brand should have a good identity, is the statement true? Okay, great. I'll just extend that. A brand should have a good identity which is known to the consumer. Is it true? Excellent. I think a lot of yeses coming in. I'll just twist it a bit more. I'll extend it a bit more. A brand having a good identity, which is known to the consumer and lived by the consumer every day. So our consumers should live the brand, us, in such a way that it builds up to create an identity. Consumers not living our identity is as good as having an identity just on a paper and as a statement. So I think our goal today, the key message I want to keep with everyone is, when we are talking about uh, creating our own identities, creating a brand or social, any kind of identity for ourselves or the organization that we are building on now as a foundation for this health and well-being approach. The key and success would be how we are able to help consumers live that, because more and more consumers live that, not even us, more and more consumers live that, we'll kind of see the success to be even more exponential. And yesterday or day before, you all saw there was specific thoughts being shared in terms of how do we even start creating that identity, right? And now I'll just share a very popular, widely used framework with everyone, and a lot of you might have heard about it. It's a very commonly used framework in marketing, which says it's a three-step framework: hook, story, offer. Anyone who is trying to create their own identity or their organization's identity, these three steps have been really ingrained, and how they even start. So we talked about creating some hooks, we talked about creating a story, but I'll re-emphasize here, a story without even finalizing and closing your hook is as good as having just a story which you're trying to reach out to the consumer. Because the consumer might not see your story, they miss your story if they don't see a hook which is grabbing enough, which is relatable enough, which is emotive enough, and which is memorable enough. So it's very important that we focus ourselves as we are thinking on our assignments, as we're thinking on creating and building this momentum going forward. How are we defining our hook very actively and proactively? Spend as much time as possible to create and finalize that hook, because everything, whatever you do, will keep on falling from there. A couple of examples to give everyone. If I just ask, what do you think Nike's hook is? The master hook. Yeah, excellent. Just do it. So I think just do it is just looks like okay, it's a simple statement, right? Three words. But every advertising, every identity you see that they're trying to create that hit that human psychology, that emotion in consumers, which is sense of achievement. That's the core thing, core driver they're trying to hit uh, with consumers. What about McDonald's? Excellent. I'm loving it. Actually, I'm loving it. So it's great to see these thoughts and answers. I think they McDonald's from their end they're trying to hit that emotion of enjoyment. So if you see everywhere, whatever they are trying to drive, any of their communication, any of their identities, any of their initiatives, this core thought remains in everything. So that's the importance of creating your hook. Now, when we talk about the second part, which is story, can anyone say we saw the 6 step framework in the first session? What was that 6 step framework? Anyone? Great. Excellent. So introduction, challenge, turning point, power love, self-discipline, lessons learned, and conclusion. So I think we have to really remember this 6 step framework and continue to build on our stories in different ways. Create one. A lot of people have been trying to say, okay, we say short stories or long stories. Doesn't matter. Create one story, and you can always build, tinker, tweak with that as you kind of think through it, because it will not come in in the first go itself. You keep on refining, keep on tweaking it. Now, the third step, I said offer, right? But we have not reached the offer yet. We are not talking about offer at all at this stage. The focus right now is there is another third step, a precursor to this offer, which we have added, which is very core to our business. It is differentiating to our business. Can anyone say what's that? Okay, it's relationship. So we say we've tweaked this 3 step framework. We say it's a 4 steps framework for now. For us, it's hook, story, relationship, offer. Without creating the consumer relationship, customer relationship, let's not think of what offer. How soon can I share that offer with the consumer? Because there are thoughts that I've now kind of hooked the consumer to me. They've come to me. Let me offer them something. It will be very easy tendency to do that. But I think that option will give us possibility of someone coming in the system, but that consumer might drop off, or they might want more convincing aspects from you to be able to take their journey and your journey forward. So here we are saying that it's all about creating a relationship here, and one of the critical aspects that we are introducing here is to start building a community where the possibility of building that strong bond, strong relationship will be much higher, and therefore the possibility of this consumer buying the solution and sticking to it also will be much higher. So that's our session all about today. And I will kind of leave everyone on this thought that when you're thinking about not only today's session but going forward as well, please continue to think of how. This entire thing is about how, right? We have talked a lot about the why in the last few months. We have seen, okay, what we need to do. We've all experienced our own journeys. There'll be a lot of what as well, no doubt about it. But with every what, with every how, start thinking, how do I do it? Kaise karna hai isko? So there will be tips, tricks, there will be certain techniques, tools which will help people who might find it difficult. Some people might find it very easy to do it. Great. I think our intent is to have those techniques with everyone so that you can start applying those as you kind of continue to progress in this journey. So I'll leave everyone with this thought and over to you, Vishali.
Thank you, Yogya, for your inspiring and motivating words. Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's special speaker, Ms. Sarika Jain. Sarika Jain comes with 18 years of experience in the market intelligence, insights, and training space. Her professional experience spans across sectors like FMCG, education, retail, QSR, durables, electronics, fashion, etc., across multiple countries. Interestingly, she has worked in Amway as well for a couple of years in between, which gave her a good view of our business, and she remains our constant partner for many initiatives for many years now. After a successful stint in the corporate sector, Sarika started her entrepreneurship and coaching journey with the launch of a strategic consulting and learning and development firm, the Insights Team, in 2022. She has also been awarded Top 10 Women Leaders by Women Entrepreneur in 2023. Sarika has conducted training and development workshops in 50 plus companies and more than 200 plus training workshops spanning research, coaching, and motivational speaking. Some examples include organizations like Pepsi, Nestle, Mars, Reckitt's, Urban Company, Ferrero, Perfetti, and ITC. A very warm welcome to a very warm person, Sarika. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Vishali. Thanks a lot for your kind words and the introduction. Thanks, Yogya, for the great context. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? A very good morning to all of you. Thanks a lot for taking the time today for this session. We have a very interesting topic to share with you today. Let me just... Vishali, if you can quickly just confirm my screen is visible, all going fine?
Yep, good to go, Sarika.
Great, great. Okay. So we have a very interesting topic today to discuss. Community engagement and relationship building. Where were we in the last session? In the last session, we all discussed various concepts of pull marketing. We discussed how we can create our own story. We can use a video format and we can put that story out there using social media, WhatsApp. We can attract people. We can make them interested in us. Now let's think of a situation where you have done that. So you saw that concept, you created your story using the framework that we spoke about some time back. And now people are interested in you. They can be your potential customers. They want to reach out to you. They want to know more about you. Now the big question is what you should do. A lot of people are reaching out to you. They want to know more about you. Till now, you have been able to successfully achieve the very first step in your journey. That first step is to create interest. People are interested. Now we have to move to the second step. And that second step is engagement. We want to engage people. Now, this word engagement is very tricky. Because if you think about it, lot of people are trying to engage the very same people we want to engage. Everyone is trying to engage everyone. Not everyone, I mean their target audience. If we think about our own target audience, so like let's say I'm me as a consumer. If I think about myself, at a point of time, I am buying multiple brands of the same product. So I'm engaged with multiple brands for the same product. There are only very few brands. When I take a stand and I say I do not want any other brand, I will go to any length. I will find my brand. I will not replace my brand. Now, we in this session are going to talk about that level that strength of engagement, that loyalty. So that is our second step, to have that engagement, that loyalty among people who are as of now interested in us. And how to do that? A very simple word. We speak about it a lot: credibility. We have to build our credibility among these very people to have that feeling of loyalty towards us. Now, credibility, a lot of people have been talking about it. I have here some quotes from some world leaders. Let's say what they are talking about. Here, this particular leader, he's talking about how credibility is a currency. And without this currency, any leader is actually bankrupt. So it's as powerful as that. Having your own credibility, believability, people believe in you, you are credible. Now, this leader is saying, people think that the most essential quality is perfection. We usually feel, right, that we have to be really perfect. But that's not what the most essential quality for leadership is. The most essential quality is credibility. People must be able to trust you. So there is no way around it. We have to establish our credibility. Now, here the catch is, sometimes some of us, we tend to believe that credibility is about being good at our work. For example, if we are talking about the health space, we might feel we know everything about it. We know everything about healthy weight. We have good enough information about healthy weight to share with people, to help them, to make their life better. So yes, we are credible. We might think that. This is true. There is nothing wrong with that. This is a hygiene. But this is only 50% of our journey towards establishing our credibility. The remaining 50% is more about the emotional aspects. Now, what are these emotional aspects? If you look over here, this person is talking about, how if if doing business, when you're doing business, building relationship. So sometimes we think when we will do business, we will have to build relationships. No, building relationship is the only way to do business. That's it, the end. Now let's talk about this one. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Customers may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. To get customers, you need to go from the heart to the brain to the wallet. So, if you see over here what we are talking about, yes, we need to have the technical knowledge, we need to be good at our work, it's a hygiene. And after that, we need to focus on building relationships with our customer where they know that we care for them, we care for their well being, we are invested in them, and we make them feel good. We make them feel happy while interacting with them, while talking to them. And therefore, we are able to touch their hearts. So that is what we are aiming today, how to build this credibility and trust, the combination of technical expertise and the emotional angle. Now, usually, let's go back to the situation we were talking about. So people attended the pull marketing. So people saw your story, they loved the story, and they are pulled towards you after seeing your story. Now, after that, in front of you, there are two possible approaches. Let's talk about the first approach. In this first approach, what happens is, and I think you must have been doing this a lot, day in and day out. People come to you, you talk to them, on a one-to-one basis, individually. Try to understand them, their family, their background, their needs, and then you pitch the right solution which you feel you need to pitch, and then you convince them, you persuade them, and after that, you possibly onboard them to a solution, your solution-based community. Now, what's happening here in this first approach? Number one, your effort is very high from a business perspective. You have to talk to each and every person individually, persuade him or her. Number two, let's say you are successful in convincing them and they are now part of your community. What might happen that after being part of the community, there could be dropouts. People might, they don't know your style. they are convinced with you. You are able to convince them, but they don't know your style. They have not lived days with you, as a community member. So it might happen that some people do not feel that synergy and they drop out. So number one, your effort is very high. Number two, dropouts can happen. Now let's talk about the second approach. In the second approach, what is happening is you are starting by establishing the credibility, the two aspects that we spoke about, through a community that is that is not based on your solution. This is a community that is based on your hook, and we will talk about it shortly, on the passion areas, on the goals, a common purpose, and you are creating trust and relationship. And once you are able to create successfully a strong community, after that, then what you do, now your community members love you. They are your loyalist members. They really like you. They like your community. They want to be there. Then you pitch your solution to many people, all community members possibly, in one go. And what will happen? You might not even have to convince them, because they already know that you have your best interest. You have their best interest in your heart. So you will not have to make that much effort. Lot of people will get convinced anyway by you just introducing your solution, and will be willing to or be part of your solution based community. So advantage number one, your effort will go down. You will not have to talk to each and every person individually. Advantage number two, once they are part of your solution based community, the chances are that dropouts are going to be negligible. Why? They know your style. They have been part of your community for a long time and they like it. That's why they are part of that community. So dropouts are likely to be less. Advantage number two. And advantage number three, volumes. Because now you have a huge group which you created by building a community, and therefore you can get lot of people in one go on your solution. So three big advantages of the second approach, and that's the reason why today we are going to, in this session, focus on the second approach, where we start by building a community and engaging people, establish our credibility, create a relationship even before we talk to them about any kind of solution. Now, some of you might be thinking, why to make so much effort? I mean, I don't even know whether these people are going to buy my solution. Why I'm making so much effort, creating a community, giving so much of my time, creating content? I would like to answer this question by quoting a saying. It takes a village to raise a child. Now, we all have been hearing this. We might have heard this multiple times in our lifetime, that we need a community, we need a network of people when we are raising a child. Now, that network could be our family members, the father's family side of the family, mother side of the family. They could be our friends, they could be our well-wishers. But in big ways or small ways, we need those people to raise a child. And therefore, just like a child needs people beyond his or her parents, your business is also like a child. You have to look at your business, and I know that you do look at your business like your child. Even your business, just like a child, needs people who are invested in its growth, who feel that yes, this business has to grow. I'm passionate about it. I want to read this quote here. This says that people, if they work together in a strong community and they have one goal, one shared goal, then they can make the impossible possible. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to create that nurturing ecosystem around our business by having the community members who are invested in our business and who will help it grow. With this thought, I will now play a video. Please watch it carefully. When you are watching the video, just see what is the key message this video is trying to convey. And after that, you can share your thoughts on the chat window. Let me just play the video. Yeah.
Please share the audio.
Sound is. Sarika, you might have to reshare it. The sound is not coming. Hello?
Sarika, you might have to reshare it. There's no audio right now.
Oh, okay. 1 minute. Thanks for letting me know. Is it better?
कैसी जाने बूंदे आई जाने कैसा दर्द लाई सामने क्या है ये तेरे क्यों रुका है तू बता रे हो कौन तुझको पार लेगा कौन होगा वो मसीहा वो जिसे तू ढूंढता है वो ही है तू वही है तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है तुझ में तेरा है सहारा तू ही तुझको पार लेगा तू ही है तेरा किनारा तुझ में तेरा रास्ता है तुझ में तेरा है सहारा तू ही तुझको पार लेगा तू ही है तेरा किनारा जिसे ढूंढता है तू ही रे तेरा मसीहा हो
Yes. So what comes to your mind? That one word or a phrase. It can be anything. Take initiative. Coming together. Great. Take charge. Teamwork. Matchstick to forest fire. Wow. Effort begins with you. Lead. Together it works. Great. Great. So if you see what was happening, influence, confidence. Wow. Great. It's my time. So if you see what was happening in this video, initially people thought that this particular problem cannot be solved. It was stopping their lives. Even in people with lot of influence, like a minister, was not able to do anything about it. And then one person, one kid actually was able to decide that, I have to do something about it. And he started doing it. And then others observed. Some people felt inspired. Some people wanted to help him. And therefore, he was able to influence people. And then all of them came together and they were able to solve that impossible problem that was stopping their lives. So it tells us that, when people come together, they can make the impossible possible. And that's the reason why we are talking about building a community before solution so that your business can have that kind of support. Now, before we move ahead, if you remember the last 10 seconds, the last 15 seconds of the video, now what was happening there? Let's just assume if I would not have shown you the entire video and I would have shown you only the last 10, 15 seconds. Could you have guessed that these people are strangers? They don't know each other. The way they were interacting, their body language towards each other, they were connected. There was a connection there. That is another key finding for us. When people work together towards a common goal, they are connected. They feel a bond, and that's what can make a community successful. Now, in our business context, if we have to think about it, so people we saw in the video what happened, people felt a sense of belonging. They were together, they were like friends, and therefore it started a relationship. And similarly, by having a community, giving a goal, a purpose to people, you can create that same feeling. People were loyal. It can increase loyalty. Now, what was happening? The kid was at the center towards the end. They were all around him. They were congratulating him. They were happy because he was the one who triggered that in them. So that can result in loyalty, huge, strong loyalty, the loyalty that we spoke about. And after that, when people are so happy towards, being part of something, they will go out and talk about it with other people, and that is word of mouth. So not only they themselves will stay happy and stay in your community, they will go out and convince other people to come and join and have this wonderful experience. And therefore you will get new people, you will attract new customers. So number one, you will attract new customers. Number two, you will be able to retain them. And number three, all of them are extremely loyal towards you. Now, there is a quote: happy customers will do anything to continue the relationship. Once your customers are happy and they are loyal towards you, they feel a sense of belonging, they will find you. They will not even look anywhere. And that is what we are targeting by building this community before solution. The big question: how to go about it? The starting point is to identify your hook. Now, you have been hearing about this word a lot. Now, hook, while a very simple word, can be very difficult to identify. Sometimes we feel that a hook has to be something, at which we are really good at. We have to be good at it, right? Otherwise, how can we convince people that come and join me and I will help you, follow this. I will help you create a ritual. I will help you. I will make your life better around this hook. But the thing is, and then what happens that, when you think from this mindset, you make a list of things that you are already good at, and then you try to find your hook. So your starting lens, your first lens is things you are already good at. It need not be that. Your hook can also be something at which currently you are not good at, but you are willing to work hard and become very good at it, become better at it than others. That can also be your hook. So here the message that I'm trying to convey is, do not feel limited by by your current strengths. In case there is something that you love and you are passionate about, but currently you are not good at, no problem. Invest your time in it, work hard for it, gain an edge over others, and that can also be your hook. Now, these are just some examples. Again, it can be anything. Now, some people love to read books. When they read books, they get transformed into a different world altogether. They possibly can start a book club community. Some people cannot even imagine their lives without meditation. They can go for meditation club. For some people, cooking is like, a detoxification. It's like a nurturing experience. They can go for a cooking club. For some people, their body is temple and they worship it through by staying fit. They can start a fitness club. Now, while all of this is very good, we talked about hook, passion, interest, what I love to do, but still, it's tough to identify, right? There are many things that we love to do, but how to choose that one thing? Because we have to be very careful in this first choice. Whatever we will choose, we will have to really stick to it. And not only for ourselves, we will have to convince others, motivate others to also do that. So here I have a video by a leader, Simon, and he's giving a very nice, a quick tip in how to choose your hook, your passion. Let's have a look at it.
What are your thoughts and what's your approach on finding and building upon passions?
Passion is not an actionable word. It's correct, that those who do the things that they're passionate about do better, but it's not helpful advice. And so the question is, where does passion come from? Passion is a result. Passion is an energy. Passion is the feeling you have when you're engaged in something that you love. Passion is the feeling you have that you would probably do this for free, and you can't believe somebody pays you to do it, And I think we mistake that passion is something we do in our private lives, but it shouldn't be done, in our careers, for example. And I'm a firm believer that you are who you are. And anybody who says, I'm different at home than I am at work, in one of those two places, you're lying. And the goal is to make everything you do in home and at work something that you have excitement to do. So how do you find the things that you're excited to do? Well, it's actually easier than you think. What are the things that you love to do? What are the things that you would do for free? How can you recreate that feeling and be paid for it? So what are the things that I do on the weekend, right? I love, I'm very involved in the art world. I love to go to museums and galleries, but I love to go see dance and performances because I want to see how others are interpreting the world. So that inspires me. New ideas, new thoughts, new ways of looking at the world are things that interest me privately, and I seek it out and pay money for it, right? So does that mean I have to have a career in the arts? No, it means I have to have a career where new ideas are explored, where people are experimenting and trying things out, and I have to explore new ideas and try things out, and I'm just as excited to go to work every day as I am to, go do something on a Saturday night. And so the idea of finding your passion is ironically simple because you should be doing stuff that you enjoy sometimes. What is the stuff that you enjoy, and then what is the stuff that you love? Who are the people that you love, and what do they all have in common?
Yes. So a very helpful tip. What is that one thing that you are willing to do completely free and you will still enjoy it as much, as you can, to the full extent you will enjoy it. So that's one lens you can take when you're trying to identify your hook. You have a list of things that you are passionate about, and then you have to choose one. So what is that thing that you are completely okay, you are more than happy to do for free? That's your hook. Now, before we come to, we have a template for you to finalize your hook. Before we come to that, a very important point. So your hook has to be relevant and appealing in one way or the other to your target audience, your set of potential customers. It cannot be completely disconnected with what your target audience, they like, they need, they want. There has to be some connection, some relation. Now, when you think from this particular point, in your mind or possibly on a notebook, just write down who all are you targeting. Now, who all are you targeting? And now the hook that you have in your mind, is it relevant or appealing to these people? Would they want to be part of this? The answer has to be yes. Otherwise, it will not result in your business growth. You will not be able to attract your target audience. Now here, why it's important that your hook should include your target audience. Your target audience is not a homogeneous set. There will be many different types of people, and your hook has to include all of them. So for this thought, I want to show you a video. As a leader of the community, you have to ensure that inclusivity.
What makes a strong community? Is it one where everyone is cut from the same paper? Communities are strongest when people from all backgrounds, orientations, and perspectives are included and welcomed. Strong communities promote a fair and equitable place to live. How do we ensure our community continues to be inclusive? It starts with me, it starts with you. In order to maintain an inclusive community, each of us needs an open mind to new ways of understanding each other. Be an ally by committing yourself to stand beside those who may be excluded from any aspect of community life. It starts with me, it starts with you. The First Nations people referred to the valley where St. Albert now sits as Pehonan, meaning gathering place. The city of St. Albert embraces diversity and is a gathering place of people from all.
So you can see that how important it is that everyone feels welcome, and your TG, all different types of people, they feel welcomed. They want to be part of your community. Now, to be able to identify your hook, we have a toolkit for you. So after this session, you will get this toolkit. In this toolkit, the very first thing that we are sharing with you is your hook identification template. Now, this template is a very, very simple template. So you have a table over here. Now, in this table, there are 4 columns. Now, right now, we have filled this template. So this is a filled version of the template because we wanted to show you how it will look like once filled. But what you will get in the toolkit is only the template, the unfilled version. So there are 4 columns. Number 1, hook. So you can write down all the potential things that you feel are candidates to become your hook. Number 2, the question, are you good at it? The answer for yes or no. That's it. Are you currently good at it? Yes or no. Are you willing to work hard to become good at it? Yes or no. And finally, is this relevant and appealing to your target audience? Again, yes and no. So let's say fitness coaching. In case of fitness coaching, I feel I'm currently not good at. I also feel that I will not be able to work hard to become good at it in future. So I have 2 no's here. But I do feel that this is relevant and appealing for my target audience. Now let's look at this row. Now this is not good enough for fitness coaching to become my hook. Now here the rule is, remember this, the rule is you need a total of 2 yes. The 1 yes has to be in your last column. This is a mandate. This is a necessary condition. The last column has to have a yes. And after that, you need to have at least 1 yes, either in column 2 or column 3. So the first one is not a good idea. Second, healthy cooking. I'm good at it. I'm so good at it, I don't even need to think about whether I'm going to work on it in future. Yes, it is relevant and appealing to my target audience. So it can be a candidate. Sharing knowledge, book knowledge. I'm good at it. I'm willing to work hard because knowledge you have to keep on building. So I'm good at it. I'm willing to work hard. And this is relevant to my target audience. Another candidate you have here, gardening. You are good at it. You are willing to work hard, but you don't feel that this is going to be relevant and appealing to your target audience. So across. So while you have 2 yes, you do not have a yes here, which was a necessary condition. So you have to work like this in the template. In fact, this is the assignment for today. Work on it. First, start by making a list of all the potential hooks. Then come to each hook one by one and answer these 3 questions. And once you are done with everything, then see where you have to put a cross and where you have to put a tick. And once you have all the options with a tick, then you can think about what Simon just told us, what you are willing, and you would be as happy to do that completely free. That possibly is your true passion and your hook for your community. Okay, so we have basically identified our hook. The next question is, now what? What should you do? You have to build a community, right? What we have today for you, a very simple 3-step template to build a community. Now this 3-step template, so there are 3 things which we need to remember. Number 1, your community members should be able to identify with your community. They should be able to see a reflection of themselves in your community. So number 1, identification. Number 2, your community members should know how to and should be encouraged and motivated to participate in your community. So number 2, participation. Number 3, they should feel validated as your community member. They should feel rewarded. In different ways, rewards are possible and we will talk about it. But they should feel rewarded. Validation point number 3. What we will go do today, now we will tell you how. So Yogi spoke about how part. We will tell you how to create identification, how to create participation, how to create validation. But before that, a very important point which you need to keep in mind before we come to core community building, a word of caution for you. Since we are talking about community, at a stage when solution is not in the picture, at that stage, 3 scenarios are possible. Scenario number 1, you have a great community based on your hook, but you do not have a great solution to offer to your engaged community members. Now, who will tell that why this particular scenario is a no-go? So you have a community, people are interested, engaged, whatever your hook was, let's say book club. They are so engaged, they wake up every morning, but you do not have a solution to give them. Then why we are saying this scenario is a no-go for you? Please type your responses in the chat window. In the meantime, let's talk about scenario 2. Scenario 2, you do not have a community, but it is meaningless without solution. Very good. Great answer. Yes, it is meaningless because what will you do of that community? Not able to create business, no outcome. Great. You can't solve any problem for them. Yes. No solution. So you will give them a good time. They will enjoy, you will enjoy, they will be your friends, possibly for the lifetime. But you will not have business growth. And we have to have business growth. That's what we are aiming here for. So scenario 1 is no go. Be very careful about it. Scenario 2, you do not have a community, you have a great solution. You will have to put in lot of effort, one-to-one interactions, persuading, and then also managing the dropouts later. Scenario 3, you have a great community, and then you also have a solution to offer to your community. That's also a great point someone mentioned. Credibility is lost when there is no solution to a great community. Great point. Now, in scenario 3, this is the most impactful scenario. Now, the key point from this slide that we want you to take away is do not go for scenario 1. And as all of you have mentioned, that this is not a great place to be in. With this thought, let's come to our very first step of creating our community. We want people to see a reflection of themselves in the community, to identify with the community. How to do that? Here, we again have a toolkit for you. In this toolkit, this is the second template that we will share with you. This template, we are calling this template your community social identity template. Now, why we are even talking about these templates, right? You might be thinking, why we have to work on this template? The thing is, for anyone, and in fact, here we are talking about lot of people, a group of people. For all those people to be able to identify, to be able to see themselves in a community that you are building, first you need to tangibly, put in front of you on a piece of paper or on your laptop in a presentation, in a Word doc, you have to put your thoughts that what is the social identity of your community. You might feel it is all in my head. That's great. But still, you need to put it down and be very clear what your community stands for. What is your community? And to be able to do that, we are sharing this template with you. Now, in this template, we have 3 questions. You have to answer these 3 questions. So you already have a hook. You have identified the hook. And now you are at a stage of building the community. You are at the very first stage, identification. So there are 3 questions and you have to answer them. So you have to only write 3 sentences and your identity is done. The first question is, how do you want people, you are the leader of the community, how do you want people, your community members to define themselves? Who are they? That is first, people. Number 2, what do you want all of those people to have that one common belief? why your community is existing. What is the reason behind it? What is the purpose? That is second. Third, how do you foresee, how do you anticipate your community members participating in your community? That is third. Now, let's see a real example. We have been talking about book club, so we can take the same example forward. For a book club, people. So this is an example, just for your understanding. The question is, who are we? We are book lovers. We do not only love to read book, but we also like to share our perspectives, our experiences, our opinions related to the book with like-minded people. So this is how the community is getting defined. And then if I'm a person and I'm reading about this community, if I'm able to relate with this statement, yes, I'm also a book lover. I like to talk about books, discuss books with my friends. Yes, I can see a reflection of myself in your community. Then I can identify with your community. Number two, purpose. We believe, what is the purpose of this community, this book club? We believe reading books and inculcating that knowledge help all of us to be our best version. So this community, this group of people, they believe that when we read books, our knowledge increases and we become our best version. So that is another purpose. That is the purpose. The first one was people. Third, and how do they participate? They exchange their ideas, their opinions, their knowledge, and they support each other to make their lives better, to become the best versions of themselves. So 3 questions, 3 answers, and your community's social identity is done. And when a person will look at it, the person will be able to gauge and understand whether I want to be part of this community. Yeah. Now, what we will do, so we spoke about these 3 questions. I want to give you some food for thought. You know, how to answer these 3 questions. For your answers, some food for thought. So we'll show you one video. In this video, lot of people are talking about what community means to them. Just hear them out, what they are saying. And then after that, after the video is over, pick one word or one phrase that touched your heart the most and write that in the chat window.
What is it about community that is important to me?
Perfect community. What would it consist of?
Okay, I'll think of my perfect community. Right now, my home.
Is this gonna have the hope word in it?
My idea of a perfect community is one where people really work together and support each other.
To be more conscious about, you know, what we do to the environment, to be more conscious about how we conduct ourselves as individuals and how we represent, you know, to the children in the community.
Well, the community I'd like to live in would be sort of a, you know, like an oasis.
A place where, you know, you can sit down, have a chat with someone. Even though we're all different, I think at the core we all have a lot of similarities.
My perfect community would be a movie theater across the street, a coffee shop a couple blocks down, a sushi place not too far away.
So something that kind of has a little bit of everything and access to everything, but still is quiet, so it's not quite so hustle and bustle. But be able to be close to that if I want that, because I like that sometimes too.
If anything, I would love to be able to walk out and know everybody in my community.
You know the baristas at this coffee place, and you always go over there for the best crepes. And you know, when your family's in town, you're like, no, we have to go here, and we have to see this theater, and then you walk on down, you get the half-price cocktail.
Community to me would be like-minded individuals sharing in that vision of helping the community become better.
We would get together and do, you know, potlucks and things like that. Almost like an extended family.
I want an area with this nightlife, and at the same time I want an area where I can still get away and still be quiet and be in a peaceful area where there's not a lot of commotion.
It's walkable. You know, I can go 5 blocks and get to something.
I like to pass other people who are walking their dogs early in the morning or late at night, and we're like, hey, you know, yeah.
I value nature.
I like being by the big city. I don't want to be out in the boonies somewhere where I have to do a lot of driving.
You know, if such a thing is possible, to have this oasis right up next to the city.
Some people just want to be able to knock on their neighbor's door.
You could walk over and grab an egg or, something.
Some people want to live in a community that's close to everything.
I walk to restaurants and shops, and I like to shop locally.
Community must be something where there's kind of like a social pact.
You're part of a bigger thing.
I think we're all supposed to live in community, so one where we actually are together. To me, that's community.
Great. So, extended family, someone has said support each other, work together, where we can exchange our feelings, social impact, love everybody for a better and extended family, feeling happy, part of bigger things, emotional connect with person, wow, want to be together without hesitation, where I want to be with others, and you are part of bigger things, working for a bigger cause, hope, love to be there, work together. Great answers. So when you think of those 3 questions, my home, wow, let's stay connected forever. When you think of those 3 questions, think from these perspectives. How you want to identify how you want to explain and define and outline your community. Because the people that you just heard, your customers are going to be like them. And this is what people feel about communities. So keep that lens in your mind as a leader, as an organizer of the community. Community brings hope in our life. Loved it. Okay. So now, where are we? We identified our hook. We have created the social identity of our community. Now, what's the next step? We have to identify some 5 to 10 people who can potentially be our very first members of the community. Now, here it's very important for you to choose these first members very carefully. Why? Because you will not be the only face of the community. They will also become the face. They will set the tonality of your community. They will set the standard of quality. So you have to be very careful who you are choosing. And one very important thing to keep in mind, a criteria which you can use to decide whether they can be the founding members along with you of your community. Do they feel invested in your idea? Do they feel invested in your hook? Do they feel that it's their idea as well? Are they so as passionate as you are about this idea? This is an essential condition. You need to choose people carefully because you need to have that strong ecosystem around you. So and for this, you do not have to do any business meetings, any formal official meetings. Simply, you can just meet in a cafe, in a park, in a mall. You can just have a casual chat. You can invite them to your home. You can do anything. Just talk to them. Just tell them what is your vision about your community and what do they feel about it. And then choose your founding members. So you have a community, a social identity based on a hook. You have your very first participants with you, your founding members who trust you and the idea behind the community. Now, before we come to the second part, which is participation, how to encourage participation, I want to show you one video. Please have a look at it and then we'll talk about it. And then just share in the chat window after you have looked it or seen it, that what is that one thing that caught your attention?
Everyone, pull together!
Yes. So what did you notice? What was happening here? Now, one person, I will give you a hint here to get you started. So one person actually, there was a problem, and then one person asked everyone, to do something about it. And then everyone participated. They came together. Unity, stay together. Okay, together is better. So what was happening when they were together? They were participating together to solve a problem. In this case, it was a problem. Power of unity. Yes, togetherness. Now, in your community, you need to ensure that people participate. They know how to participate, and you have to encourage the way in that video, the video we just saw. There was one person who was encouraging them to take action. Like that, you have to come, yes, uh, unity. You have to take action and you have to encourage them. Without participation, it's very difficult to take a community forward. We all know that, right? Now, here I want to address one very important point. Sometimes we feel that participation means that people, your members, have to create content. They have to be super active in your community. However, that's not the case always. Consuming information is also a form of participation. So if your members, they are consuming information, they are observing, they are seeing what you are doing on your community, that is also acceptable. To be able to make you understand, this concept better, I want to share this one tool. And this tool has been used by multiple people in the industry all over the world across companies. This tool was created by Douglas Etkin. Now, he used to co-head the community department and at Airbnb. We know about Airbnb. Airbnb has taken the concept of community at a different level altogether. What he did a lot of experiments, in making the community within his company stronger. And after that, he developed this curve. It's called the commitment curve. Now, in the commitment curve, what he says that whenever there is a community, people first initiate, they join your community. After that, they observe, they are passive members. They are consuming your content. It doesn't mean they are inactive. Inactive is different. They are consuming your comment. And after that, some people become active. They start, writing. They start interacting with people. They start direct messaging people. Now here they are active. They are talking in the community. And then there comes a stage when people are powerful. Here at this stage, they are actually creating content. They are leading conversations. Now, as per his and lot of other people's research, there is a rule called 90%, 9%, and 1%. Sometimes we have this conception in our mind that the powerful participants have to be like a huge number. But no, that's not the case. You only need 1% of your community members to be powerful members. You need 9% of your community members to be active and 90% to be passive. And it's completely fine. If that's the case, you have a great community. So remember this, 90%, 9%, 1%. Do not feel discouraged if you see a lot of people in the passive bucket. That's completely fine. We need all types of people. And also, you need to start identifying who are the people who can come in this powerful bucket, this 1%. Now, this is a community curve in action. So let's see. The person becomes a member. After that, he's reading blogs, he's reading comments. He's the passive member. He's observing everything. And after that comes a next stage. So the first stage is passive. The next is active. Now he has started writing. He has started writing blogs. He has started uploading videos, joined some subgroups, has started contributing. This is the second stage. Now comes the third stage. Now in the third stage, he's actually leading discussions. He's organizing events. He's leading, subgroups. and he's also being considered for leadership role. That's a powerful stage. We have been talking about the book club example. So initiation, the person signed up for your book club. Passive, the person has started reading the recommended books. So while he or she might not be speaking, but they are reading, they are paying attention, they are in the passive group. Active, the person has started making conversations, contributing to various activities, the active stage. And finally, the person has started leading sessions of the community himself or herself. So this is how it should look like. And again, remember 99.1%. Now the question is, how do we ensure all of this? Because there has to be something there for people to become a passive member or an active member or a powerful member. Some stimulus is required from you as the leader. Now we talk about participation. How you as a leader can encourage participation. Point number 1, challenges. Now we all love challenges, right? Whenever we don't love challenges, we have a love-hate relationship with challenges, but whenever we are challenged, we are motivated, we feel that drive to do something about it. Now there are different types. These are just some examples. There are different type of challenges which you can give. Now some challenges are at an individual level. So you can ask all your community members. So what is that one new healthy habit? So you can give them a list of healthy habits, a long list, and you can ask them to choose one healthy habit, and then have that, create and develop that healthy habit in 1 week. So that is one. At individual level, you are giving them a challenge, and people are motivated and supported by other community members. Activity challenge. You can give them an activity and give them a challenge, whether you can do it. Let's see who all can do it. Now, these are the examples of individual level challenges, but we also have some examples of group level challenges. So for example, let's say you one day you say, as a group, as a community, our challenge is that we have to walk, let's say 50 kilometers in a week. Again, I'm just randomly picking a number, 50 kilometers in a week. That's the challenge that you're giving to the group, not to one person. Now, all of them have to contribute. It doesn't mean they all have to come together and walk together. They can walk in their own spaces, but at the end of 1 week, you as the leader, you are going to add up all the individual contributions and then see what's the number you are getting. Is it 50, less than 50, more than 50? Now, what's happening here? When a person has committed to a community, the person is invested in that community. It's like, as you said, our family, right? We want to contribute to our family's goals. And therefore, that's another level of motivation. So here the person would feel that drive. I want to contribute. I need to help my community meet that challenge. So the challenge, 2 types, individual level, group level. So this is some food for thought, which you can keep in mind while designing challenges for your community. Now, number 2, example 2, encourage them to share their experiences and learn from each other. It's very important that your community members feel safe, feel happy and positive about sharing their journey and their experiences in your community forums. And in that journey, so for example, we spoke about one healthy habit per week. So what was the challenge which they faced during that one healthy habit? How did they tackle that challenge? Now, after that, what all did they try? After that, there are 2 scenarios. Some people would have been able to overcome the challenge. Some people could not. Both of these stories are important. You have to establish in your community. It's important that you do not only pay attention to winning stories. Both the winners and people who could not do it this time, both are important. Ask them to come. And to the second group, you can ask them to focus more on their learnings, that they were not able to do it. So what are their learnings? They can be invaluable to everyone. So encourage people to share their experiences, their stories after every big activity that you do in your community. Now, not all of us are so creative, right? So let's say if suddenly someone asks me, tell the story about yesterday. It might be difficult for me as a person. How do I say? Where do I start? I don't know. I think I'm going to make a mess out of it. Therefore, to be able to help these kind of people who do not know, who are not that expressive, who are not that creative, you can give them some tools to create and curate their story. Now, one tool is the vision board. For example, you can ask them, what is your vision for the next 3 months? What is the vision for this year? What is your vision for holidays? What is your vision for your kids' holidays? It could be anything for festivals. And then you tell them how to create a vision board. Now, these are some examples of the vision board. Here, the person has created a vision board, listed out goals for 2017. What I'm going to do, I'm going to strengthen myself. I will be stronger. I will stay calm. I will adopt a fighter attitude, confident attitude. I will be a doer. So in this case, the person has picked pictures from magazines, newspapers, or has just written down certain things on the board. And this is the vision board of this person for 2017. Here is another example. This is my year to shine. This is what this person is trying to tell. Wherever you go, God is with you. So this person wants that to remember that. So these are examples of vision board. You give them this tool and tell them that use this, create it, and then talk about it. That why this picture, why this word. Tell us what was going on in your mind. The second tool which you can give them is a progress photos. So for example, 1 week healthy habit creation, building. Ask them to take a pic during each day of the week. Day 1, 1 picture. Day 2, second picture. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you will have 7 pictures. Now, when they come, ask them that when you come to tell your story, have those pictures in front of you. In fact, share those pictures with the audience, other community member, and then tell what was going on in your mind when you took that picture on day 1. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? What was your mood like? So that again is a tool that will help people to share their feelings, share their journey. Day 1, day 2, day 3, how their feelings changed, how their journey changed. They will be able to share all of that. Another one, great tool, mood tracker. At the end of the day, when we are trying to create a community and we are asked to participate, not everything is very happy. In the beginning, we might face some challenges. Give them a mood tracker. So as simple as that. You can see the smileys over here. This is the happiest smiley, happiest face. This is a sad face. And everything is acceptable. They don't need to be happy during all the days. So what they need to do for each day, they need to put a tick mark on the smiley, on the face with which they can relate to as per their mood during that day. And then they have to write couple of things that, what they are grateful for during that day and what are their goals for tomorrow. And then when they will come after 1 week with this mood tracker, it will be easier for them to share their story. So they will say, day 1, I was sad. I was feeling that I will not be able to do it. I don't know why I even said that I will take up this challenge. Day 2, I started feeling it's okay. I won't be able to do it. I was still, not that sad. I was like, let's give it a try. I might just learn something. And then day 7, a happy face. I'm surprised. I surprised myself. I did it. So that will help them to tell their story. Now, another thing, and this is a very, very important part. Encourage your participants, your community members to practice positive self-talk. Now, what happens in any community when people are not participating, when they are in the passive zone or they are in the inactive, when they drop out? Sometimes the reason is they feel, what can I contribute? I'm not good enough. People are going to laugh at me. People are going to think, what is this? And everyone else is so great. I'm a misfit here. So we tend to have a lot of negative self-talks and we pull ourselves down multiple times. Here, it's important as a leader of the community because you have to create that positivity and acceptance. Encourage them to practice positive self-talk. A very simple way to do it. Create a session, create an activity ask them to think about 3 things which they love about themselves and make it mandatory. Don't give them a choice. Just tell them it's not possible that any human being in this world, he or she does not have even 3 things that can be loved. And then invite everyone to come to the session and share those 3 things which they love about themselves. It will help them to change the narrative in their mind, and it will also help them to see positive reaction from others. And then it will encourage them to participate, to become from passive to active and active to possibly power. And that's a good payoff, but the most important payoff, they will feel fulfilled, they will feel connected, they will feel happy and loyal towards you for making them feel all of this. Now, another thing that we want to share for participation, while all of these challenges and everything, they are good, but at the end of the day, you have to also give more triggers to people to keep the momentum high, to keep the novelty high. And here, what we suggest you that you can take that initiative and share, some live sessions. So, for example, let's say one day you will say, I learned a very nice healthy recipe, and I want to share with all of you. Let's come together. I will just live stream. You can share your session. People can see. People can comment. You can all have a good time, and you can all also learn something useful. So this is also a great way to engage people, to make them participate, to talk not only with you, but with each other. Ask me anything sessions. Now, these are very casual, fun sessions. And at the end of the day, when people, you can have a session where you will tell people for 30 minutes, I'm there. You can ask me anything and I'm going to answer that. And then people will start asking and you will start answering. And even people who are not really asking, they are listening, they are reading, and they are engaged. They will like it. They will like to know you. They will like to know other people because the questions also tell something about ourselves. Now, these kind of activities will bring people closer. I will just give an example here. Sometimes when we go to, some family trip or some company trip or, some team bonding trip or a trip with friends, not very close friends. After the trip, we feel, okay, I feel closer to this person. I feel that connection. Why? Because you have shared something together. You shared a part of yourself with the other person. And that's what we are trying to achieve here. Poll on WhatsApp. Keep on sharing interesting polls, where people have to think and then answer. It will keep them engaged. It will keep the momentum going. So this is another example of how you as a leader can take the first step, can initiate and keep the momentum going in your community. Another example, how we all are surrounded by digital devices. We have mobile phone, we have laptop, we have so many things. You can give them a challenge. Now we cannot expect people to, just get rid of everything for a day. It's not possible. I mean, we have a life, we have a work, we have our work to do. We have family and they reach out to us through these devices. You can give them a challenge that choose one device which you will not touch during the day and just observe yourself and then come back and share with everyone. So let's say I chose my mobile phone and then I will come back and tell people that, how many times I was about to touch my mobile phone and what was going on in my mind and then what I told myself and then what happened. So it's a fun way, a fun story, which I would like to tell people because it's difficult. It was difficult staying without my mobile phone. And 4 times I was just about to open it. And then I told this to myself and I stopped. And then maybe 5th time, I ended up starting it. And that's also a story to tell, right? So that's another way to encourage participation and engagement. We also have some more examples here. Laughter therapy, scientifically proven, even if we are sad and if we laugh, we become happy. Water therapy, we saw in the very first session, Ankur Warikoo, the influencer, talking about spending time with water. There are a lot of water therapies. That was just one example. You can introduce many such examples. Super brain yoga. Super brain yoga, have session because people need to feel calm in this world We need to feel calm. And if you are able to help them achieve that state, they will never ever forget that. They will always remember it. Goal setting. Lot of us are not able to reach our goals because we don't really do goal setting. We feel we know our goals, but do we? Do we really know our goals? Think about it. It's very difficult for some people to sit alone, let's say in a room, in my office, sitting alone and then writing my goals. It can be difficult. But when I'm doing the same exercise with a group of like-minded people I know are interested in me, they have good interest of mine in their hearts, then the goal setting becomes a fun activity and it becomes very effective. And goal setting is very important because it gives clarity. It gives a direction to each and every second, a day, a week, and a year of our life. Help your participants to set their goals. So this was all about participation. We started with a hook. We then you described the social identity. You had your founding members, and after that you encouraged participation. And after participation, now we come to the very last step of your community, validation. It's very important that people feel validated. They feel proud to be part of your community. Now, one very simple way to do that is the experience itself. In fact, this is a hygiene. No matter how many gifts you give them, if we cannot get this right, they will not feel happy. They will not feel validated and rewarded. The experience of being part of the community in itself has to be rewarding. So that is number one, a hygiene. The experience has to be valuable. Number two, as a leader, it's important that you recognize their hard work and their contributions toward the community. And these contributions can be small, can be big, all should be celebrated in their own different ways. Now, they do not need to have, let's say, do a very big thing for you to come over there and say that I want to recognize this person, that this person did this. It's completely okay. So I will just give you an example. We are all are clear about big wins, right? Let's take an example of a small win. There is a community member. He could not do 4 challenges. He could not do anything about it, but he shared his learnings, and those were great. And then the 5th challenge came and the person was able to do it. That's a small win. Now that 5th challenge possibly could have been also done by another 20 people, but those 20 people were also able to do the previous 4 challenges. For them, it's a big win, but the other person, it's a small win. The small win, the first very challenge, he was successfully able to do, and you can celebrate that. So it's important to celebrate both small and big wins. We do not want to make it a success competition. We want to make it a collaborative space, ecosystem. And finally, there is one more important way to reward people. Give them some tangible gifts. So related to your hook. So for example, if your hook was about fitness, or you can give them a coupon for an outdoor activity, outdoor adventure. If it was about a cooking club, you can give them, you can get them registered for healthy cooking classes. You can give them a spa day to relax. You can give them a fitness tracker device to track their fitness activities, routine. So all these things will also help not only reward them, make them happy because they got a gift, but they will also amplify their engagement and participation in the community. And finally, feedback. It's very important that the community members, they feel heard. It should not be a one-way communication that you are telling them what should be done. You ask them what we should do more, what we should stop doing, what we should start doing, and take action on it. When your community members will feel heard, they will feel invaluable part of your team, and they will never ever leave you. They will be your loyalist. So always, we underestimate the power of feedback. Never do that. Always take feedback. Always use feedback. Implement feedback. And one important point, it's very, very important that people share their personal experiences. They do not just complete activities, they share their story. Because when they share what they are feeling, then they connect with other people. And when they see people responding positively to it, they never ever forget about it. And they become your loyalist. You have successfully been able to establish your credibility. Now, before that, before we come to the Q&A, the question and answer round, very quickly, you will get a toolkit. We discussed about it. Your hook identifier template. This is the template which you will receive. The second template is your community social identity template. Those 3 questions we spoke about. And then the assignment which the team will share with you is to find your hook using the hook template. Now, any thought, any question, anything which comes to your mind, please share on the chat session. More than happy to answer all the questions, anything which you want to ask. And if not today, at a later stage, if something comes to your mind, please reach out to the team, share your questions. We'll definitely get back to you. But do let me know if there is anything at all which, it could be a thought, it could be a feeling, it could be an observation. Yeah. You're most welcome. Most welcome. Perfect. Perfect. Great. I just want to say one thing. In case of any questions, please feel free to reach out to the team. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Vishali.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sarika, for this informative and inspiring session. I hope all participants had a lot to learn and take away from the session today, and hope to see you all tomorrow from session 3 onwards. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Sarika.
Thank you. Thanks, Vishali.